Hey, good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Publishing Room. I am so excited to be on here this morning with you guys. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to be on here with you guys. So today, for this episode of the Publishing Room, we're going to talk about why editing is a non-negotiable step in professional publishing. All right. And the reason why this is important, right? Because people, there's a lot of misconceptions around the idea of professional editing, right? Some people just be like, hey, God gave me the words, so they don't feel like they need to edit, which I can understand that because if they're, I would say on certain books, right? So we want to be careful on that. Because, like, if God told you, hey, I want you to write a book in a particular way, and I don't want you to change it, especially if it's a book of prophecy, you really can't tweak that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you might can look at the spelling of a word or something, but you really can't tweak what was said and all that and how it was said and all that because literally God did give you that. So I will preface it with that. But some people, if they're just writing a general book, they're like, I don't want to do no editing. This is how God gave it to me, and that's it. Another one, people feel like they can proofread themselves. And even though, yeah, you can proofread yourself, right? And we're not saying that you don't have the capacity to proofread yourself. It can just be a little difficult, right? Because you're so used to seeing yourself right. You're not gonna be able to catch every single little mistake and all that you would, because you're just used to how you write. Okay. Even if you like, you major in English or journalism and you feel like you have the best writing and know how to go back and all that, you still need somebody to go back and look over, right, the material that you have produced, right? Just to make sure, does it sound clear to the audience? Did you have the proper sentence structure, the proper grammar, syntax, all those things? And they said some other beliefs are editing is only for traditional publishing, and that's a lie. I mean, and even if you, okay, so it doesn't matter if you traditionally publish, if you hybrid publish, because our company is a hybrid publishing company, or if you're trying to self-publish, right? You still need to edit, all right? And then last but not least, editing is optional if I self-publish. Once again, that's a lie. I mean, you can do that, but you're not going to like the results. And you're going to really soon realize that the people are not going to be back to buy another book from you. They're going to be like, well, I don't like I don't like how he or she writes. Stuff's all over the place. I don't understand it. It just looks like they just threw a bunch of junk together. Okay. And you don't want that. You have to understand that even though we are anointed people as Christians, right, as Christian authors, your anointing does not cancel excellence. It just doesn't. Okay. It does not cancel excellence. And so, what editing actually does, all right? So, number one, it helps to what? Protect credibility. You don't want to seem, like I said, like you were like you just wrote your book and you were like a kindergartner that just scrabbled everywhere. Your thoughts is all over the place. There's like no flow, there's no structure, there's no clarity. Like, people don't want that. You know what I mean? And so you want to know, like I said, remember, when you write a book, you got to know who your target audience is and what problem you're helping to solve. Okay? Because this is going to help establish your credibility as an author. All right. Number two, it enhances the reader experience. Like I said, you don't want your reader just having to guess, like, what are they talking about? I bought this book, but it's very hard for me to understand. I can't even digest this book. And then they just throw your book to the side. And then you start getting poor reviews, right? you're going to start getting a lot of negative, which is another point. You're going to start getting a lot of negative reviews because people cannot digest the material that you have written. And you just don't want that, guys. All right, you don't want that. And then number 3, right? Or number 4, editing increases trust, right? Because it's going to show, like I said, just that professional side that you actually take the time out to be diligent, right? To be diligent in your work. And you want your audience to be able to see that you carry a spirit of excellence about you. All right. Now, guys, what happens, all right, when authors skip editing? Well, like we said, right? There's going to be a lot of confusion. Your reader is going to be sitting there saying, "Oh my gosh, I did not realize." Like I'm thinking this book was going to help me. Like, if anything, I'm more confused than when I first bought the book. You don't want that. Also, too, you don't want a lot of errors in your book because those can be distracting, right? You be saying, did they mean to put a T there in front of the H for the? Like, it says huh, it just says he. You know what I mean? Like, what are they trying to say? Is it he? Is it she? Is it the? Like, what are they talking about? So, like, we have to be very careful and conscientious, right? As it pertains, okay, as it pertains to what type of work we are putting out there to the general public. Okay, guys, we have to do that. And also, too, like I said, you don't want to lose your authority or your credibility. Because the moment that you call yourself a published author and they get your one book and your book is trash, they might possibly give you a second chance. But I'm letting y'all know how most people think. It's that one chance. So whatever work you put out, that's what they're gonna perceive. You know what I'm saying? That's how they're gonna perceive you as. And I hate to say it, like people's like, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover," but people judging books by their cover. They looking not even just the cover. They looking on the inside. They trying to judge you. So I'm just saying, you want to have a level of professionalism as it becomes pertains to that actual editing, okay? Also, too, you can miss opportunities. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, once people start hearing that you're not really professional, like let's say, your book, like let's go back to the domestic violence thing. Example, let's say that, you wrote this book, right? And it's an incredible book. You had a credible story. And let's say that you wanted to be a part of, like you wanted to be a speaker. Okay, let's just say you're expanding out and you want to be able to be a speaker. Let's say that one of the speakers get a hold of your book. Like, right, or not the speaker, but the event coordinator gets a hold of your book. If that book is trash, you know what I mean? Like, you might literally miss out on an opportunity because, like I said, you didn't set yourself up from a position of professionalism. And that's how we have to view ourselves, God. We want to view ourselves from the lens of professionalism, right? Because, like I said, our books are so much more than books. You can literally create a whole brand message, build whole ministries, build whole businesses off of you trying to solve the particular problem in your book. But remember, people view you how you do one thing is how they view how you do everything. I'm telling you, from start to finish, how you do one thing is how they view how you do everything. And so I'm just saying, you just want to make sure that you're not shortchanging yourself as it pertains to that, you know. And then another thing, you might have to re-release another edition of the book because you didn't catch, or if you self-publish or whoever your publisher is didn't catch the majority of, right, the missed opportunities or the edits. Now I will say, no book is perfect. There's still errors in some books. But you don't want where there's a lot of errors in your book. Okay. I'm not saying, because, it's just, we're human. Like, you're not going to catch every single error. Okay. But you want the majority of those things to be solved right away. Okay. And another thing, like if you're working, it doesn't matter if you're working with a traditional publisher, if you're working with a hybrid publisher, or even if you're self-publishing and you're using like a freelancer, you want to make sure that they are still in communication with you. So after, let's say they are working on the edits, they should be coming back to you like, hey, do you like this edit? Is there something else you want to change? Now, remind you when you're on a deadline, like, let's be realistic, but you want to try to work with that person, it should be a back and forth dialogue like, hey, is this good? Is this not good? Because what you don't want is, you know, you didn't say anything to the publisher or to the freelancer, and then you're upset about the work, but you were just trying to hurry up and produce a work. You just were trying to hurry up and produce your book. Like, no, talk to them. Let them know, like, hey, I like this edit, but then I don't. Can we tweak this just a little bit? Or, you might like it, you know what I mean? And that's fine. You can say, okay, well, let's move on to the next section. But it's gonna be a back and forth dialogue. So don't ever get it twisted like, ooh, this is just gonna be, all on the publisher, all on the freelancer. No, because at the end of the day, this is still your product. Your name is still on the front cover. You own it. The publisher don't own it. You do. So you want to make sure that you're involved in every step of the process, okay? And you got to understand that most poor reviews aren't about the message, they're about the presentation of the book. Always keep that in the back of your mind, okay? And so, how do we handle publishing edits, right? So, here at Kingdompreneur Publishing, we offer editing, right, with all of our packages. We have offer copy editing. And like I told you guys before, it's not just myself. I work more in the project management role. I have a team of people that help assist me as far as graphic design, as far as copy editing, as far as, getting other things for the book, things of that nature, right? But we all work together to make sure that it's a collaborative effort. And so as the project manager, I would be the one that you would, the face that you would normally speak to. And I would let you know, like, we would just, like I said, have a conversation like, hey, do you like these edits? Okay. What do you like about them? What do you feel like you would like to change? Are you good with them? Because like I said, we want to make sure that you're involved in every step of the process. Because if you're not involved in every step of the process, like I said, this is your book, this is your baby. And what you don't want is you're missing out on opportunities, you're losing your credibility, all of that simply because there was a lack of communication. Okay. And we have to remember that the goal is about clarity, not control. So the publisher company should not be trying to control what you want. Like I said, that's why when you should always have buy-in. And if they're not going to give you buy-in, and they just gonna be like, okay, this is what it is, and they're not gonna even try to see how you feel about it, you need to run. That is not somebody you need to work with. And like I said, some people, some people like to roll like that. I don't feel like that's fair, right? You're spending money to work with somebody for something that you want. So it needs to come out the way that you desire to come out. All right. And then last but not least, we help to refine, right, without removing the author's voice, because we don't want to remove your voice. Like I said, God gave you a distinct voice, and we don't want to take away from that. We just want to help enhance it. That's it. Bring clarity, help enhance it, make you feel, like I said, like at the end of the day, like you have a good finished product that you feel proud about, you know? So we edit with respect for the author and the assignment and the audience. All right. That is our goal. All right. Here at Kingdompreneur Publishing. And so, guys, if you are interested in getting connected with our publishing company, right, here at Kingdompreneur Publishing, like I said, we have a business presentation. You can do a free discovery call. You can literally go to Kingdompreneur Publishing. All right.com. Also, too, in the description below, you'll find a link to even be able to book that call for free. It's just a 15-minute discovery call. We also, too, guys, let's say like, hey, I really don't want help with the publishing piece, but I need help with marketing. We help with marketing or promotion as well, you know. So everything from if you need to set up a website, if you're looking at social media promotion, you're looking into getting into ads, if you're looking into email marketing, all that, we can help assist with that as well. And then last but not least, guys, we have 3 different consultations that we offer here at Kingdompreneur Publishing. All right, we offer the author consult. So that's just more so to help bring clarity, right? Because maybe you're in a stuck place, or maybe you're like, hey, I need to work on my target audience, the problem that I'm trying to solve, things of that nature. That would be more so that consult. That's a 30-minute consult for $47. And then also, too, guys, we have the self-publishing consult. So that's going to be more so for people who are looking to self-publish themselves. They don't want to hire anybody, but they just kind of need help. That would definitely be more so for my children's book authors as well. Helping you, like, give you step-by-step guidance on everything you need to be successful in that. So that's another 30-minute consultation, and that's only $47. And then last but not least, guys, we have the brand, right? More so when it comes to marketing and promotion and branding and all that. We have that consultation. And that one is a 45-minute consultation, like 45 to 60 minutes. And that one is $67. But that really talks about everything from you know, getting into branding, like if you want to build like a whole business out of the problem that you're helping to solve, right? Creating other products and services, all the way down to, like I said, just regular marketing, regular promotion, how to sell, things of that nature would be that particular one. And so when it comes to our publishing company, like I said, we have packages that our publisher packages go range from anywhere from $397, which is our lowest package, which is our seed package, all the way up to our highest package, the sovereign package, which is $1997. And each package has more marketing and promotional things built into it. And so that's what you're paying for. It's just more of the marketing and promotional piece. Well, guys, like I said, I pray that this has truly blessed you. Like I said, I pray that these, publishing room tips help you. Like I said, even if we're not the publisher that you go with, we just want to make sure that you are being, that you're being, taught and educated on what to look for when you are looking for a publisher, right? Or when you're getting ready to self-publish, all right? So we love you with the love of Christ, and we will be back next week for another episode. All right, guys. Until then, bye.